6, come on and get your kicks, 'cause I don't need the money with a face like that, do ya? No, you don't need the money with a face like that, do ya? Big black boots, long brown hair, she's so sweet with her get back stare. I could see you at home with me, but you are with another man. I know we ain't got much to say before I let you get away. Ooh, are you gonna be my girl? 1, 2, 3, turn your hand, come with me, 'cause you look so fine and I really wanna make you mine. You look so fine and I really wanna make you mine. 4, 5, 6, come on and get your kicks, 'cause you don't need the money with a face like that, do ya? You don't. Big black boots, long brown hair, she's so sweet with her get back stare. I could see you at home with me, but you are with another man. I know we ain't got much to say before I let you get away. Ooh, you're gonna be my Big black boots, long brown hair, she's so sweet with her get back stare. I could see you at home with me, but you are with another man. I know we ain't got much to say before I let you get away.
Hey, everybody, it's the top of the hour. That means you've got a couple more minutes. So, grab yourself a snack, get something to drink, get all comfy cozy, share the link with your friends and family not already in the stream. The Suzette Veneti show will begin in about 2.5 minutes. Welcome to the Virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for the Suzette Veneti Show. Please welcome to your screen your host, Suzette Veneti.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Suzette Veneti Show. Guess what time it is? 5:03. Oh my god, we're so good at what we do. It is November 1st. It's finally here, November, you guys. That means there actually is something. I always joke, and I'm like, if you have something to do on Tuesday, you have 2 days to do it. There's actually something you do have to do on Tuesday. So, whatever that is, it's 48 hours. So, yay, November's here. Okay. Let's get on with the show. The Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator Mike Nolan had to pause a press conference this past week. It's 'cause he got Tabasco in his eye after he rubbed his eye during the press conference. That's why the Cowboys are so bad this year. Their DC, that's defensive coordinator, if for anyone watching, their defensive coordinator can't follow instructions. COVID rules, bro. Don't touch your face. Your eyes are on your face. But more obviously, the Cowboys' defensive coordinator couldn't defend his eye from his finger that had Tabasco on it. So you think the Cowboys are going to be able to defend anything? I know Mike Nolan has a complicated defensive scheme, but putting Tabasco on your finger and then putting your finger in your eye isn't a cover 2, a cover 3, a cover 4, or a man-to-man. So just... Cowboys suck, and their defensive coordinator put Tabasco in his eye. Staying in sports, the Miller family, owners of the Utah Jazz for 35 years, are selling to Qualtrics founder, 42-year-old tech guy Ryan Smith. This is the first time in history that anyone in Utah has ever bought anything Jazz-related. Also in sports, the White Sox ignored younger, more exciting candidates for their managerial position and pulled a presidential move by hiring a 76-year-old old white guy, noted anti-free speech and free protest guy, Tony La Russa. The White Sox graphic department accidentally left a signature for A.J. Hinch, another candidate for the managerial position. Hinch was actually considered but never actually interviewed by the team, and he was eventually hired by the Detroit Tigers. Hey, baseball, keep hiring those cheaters and old white guys that hate outspoken young black men. That's the way to bring new fans to the game. In a controversial move to get to battleground state votes, Trump removed restrictions on hunting gray wolves. I knew he hated Anderson Cooper, who has white hair. Whoops, that was supposed to be Chuck Schumer. I knew he hated Chuck Schumer, but damn, you're going to let people hunt him now? Also, speaking of huge moves that benefit the country in the most important ways, Trump removed water flow restrictions that regulate dishwater usage. Then he encouraged his followers to buy a new dishwasher. Guys, Trump hasn't washed a dish in his life. It's not because he's rich. It's because he eats McDonald's only. There's no dishes to wash. I wish somebody would wash him out of my life. In the worst news of my lifetime, Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed at the Supreme Court this week. 2020 sucks so bad that I feel like J.K. Rowling is writing it at this point. Like now J.K. Rowling, not the one that wrote the books. Everyone by now is aware that the White House has listed ending the COVID-19 pandemic as an accomplishment for this administration, and everyone has made fun of it. But what no one is talking about is how stupid it is that right under listing ending COVID-19 as an accomplishment, they listed that listing it was an accomplishment. And finally, Daddy Obama gave a rousing speech. Good God, how we missed an intelligible, articulate, charming speaker rallying us. Not to mention, Trump is what you'll have to go home with at the end of the night, and Obama's just the type of guy that you're just hoping he'll just notice you and maybe ask you to dance. But he said the same thing he's been saying since 2016, and there's no joke here. So just like Barack Obama said, don't boo, vote. And with that, we're going to get right to one of our contributors. Hasn't been here, wasn't here recently, but she's back, and that's exciting. We ready?
Mhm.
Cool. Peers and Queers, Bees and Booze. Give it up for one of my favorite people, one of my favorite follows, Chelsea Bearce.
Oh my God. Hey, bitch.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Do you know how much I love you? Let me tell you how much I love you. I've been home for less than an hour. I've been on 2 airplanes today. I woke up in Wisconsin, and I'm here for you. I haven't showered. I haven't unpacked. I am a disgusting human being, and I'm here for you because I wasn't here last week, and I couldn't do that to you 2 weeks in a row. So there you go. Suck on that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad
duh.
you're here. You
how
look
was
great.
brunch?
I mean, for waking up in Wisconsin, you look great.
Can you see me right now, or are you just saying that?
No, I can see you.
Oh, you can't. Okay. I
Yeah.
thought you were doing that TV thing.
No, I see you on Zoom.
Oh, good. Hi.
Yeah, your sign's behind you. You're wearing a tank top.
I am. That's true. Okay.
Mhm.
How was brunch today? Are you doing okay? I feel like we haven't caught up in a while.
Brunch was good.
Okay.
You know, it was like last week was big because it was our Halloween show.
Yeah.
So this, at least for me, like this week was just a little bit of like, well, not a bad show at all. Just the show after the Halloween show, you know?
Right. Well, good. I'm glad that, I mean, it's still going on. It's
Yeah.
still good. Did you guys sell out?
We did. We sold out again, both shows.
Perfect. You should start with that. I mean,
I should. I thought you were asking about me personally.
oh no, I don't know. I don't care about you personally. But
fair.
but I'm glad that the show sold out. That's very, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just came back. I was in Wisconsin for a weekend of shows with Miles Weber, my buddy. So we did a weekend of shows in Wisconsin, Appleton, Wisconsin, which I did not know was a real place. I saw one black person the whole time I was there. One black person. And it was okay. Doing show, it's okay. First of all, it's very, very exciting that comedy's kind of like, it's coming back slowly. You know what I mean? Like, we're able to do outside shows, which is great. We're able to do, you know, this. So it's like slowly things are starting to happen. But the fact that I'm still able to travel, like now I'm able to travel and do shows is a very big deal, right?
Indeed.
It makes me very happy. So yeah. But doing shows like on a holiday weekend is a gamble because it can either go really, really well or really, really shitty, you know? Because you never know how many people are going to show up, and especially on Halloween, but it's COVID Halloween.
That's
so
what I
it's
was
like
going to say, especially with the pandemic. Like, really unpredictable.
So it's like, are people going to show up? And they were only seating, I think, 25% of the club. So, you know, it's like, are they going to show up? Are they going to be ready to drink and party? Or are they just going to go do house parties because you can't really do a big celebration this year, you know? So it was a gamble to go, but it was really good to be like in a club setting and on the road and selling merch and, you know, all that stuff. So it was good. It was a good time. I was a little sad to be away from my 4-year-old son on Halloween, but I mean, there'll be so many more, right? And the good thing is that I did well enough on this weekend that I'm going to be booked at not only this club again, but the other clubs that the owner owns. So it's like it will lead to future work, you know?
Are they other clubs in Appleton?
Please, yeah. Appleton's so big, they have multiple comedy clubs. Get out of here. No.
I don't know.
He owns one in Appleton, Wisconsin, one in OKC, and then I think 2 in Washington, like Spokane and Tacoma, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome, especially because those are a little bit closer.
Yeah, so it was good. It was a good weekend. It was nice to get out there and just, you know, be on the road. So that part was really cool. But what is it that I usually talk about when I am here on the Suzette Veneti show? What is it? You tell me, Suzette. What is it that I usually talk about?
Dating.
And how bad I am at it, right?
Well, I don't know, because you aren't the one that's standing you up for making eggs or selecting bugs or I don't know.
I like that that's the same guy too, by the way. I like that horrible story is about this one fucking guy who just like chose termites and scrambled eggs over me. And it's like, I know my place in his heart. I know where I stand with that guy. It's done. Okay, we get it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if you want, I can name the other stuff, but I just really like going to termites and eggs.
Because it's funny.
It's really very, is. Very funny. It really is.
It is. And it's tragic, and it's just my life. But I don't know if you remember this, but 2 weeks ago, I went to Colorado Springs to do comedy at a comedy club called Looney's. Do you remember this?
I do.
So I was in Colorado Springs, and I did a weekend in at Looney's Comedy Club in Colorado Springs, and I was with Miles again, which was great. It was the first time on the road, I think, since COVID, so it was really, really exciting. So the last show that we did, okay? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to tell you this. The last show that we did at Looney's, okay, the late show on a fucking Saturday, there was a guy in the audience, okay, and he was the third wheel to this couple. So there were 3 of them sitting at the table. A guy, a girl, they were married, and then this dude, okay? And he was very cute. And I, of course, I'm so terrified to talk to the audience. Yeah, right. So I call him out, and I was like, who are you? Why are you sitting by yourself? Like, why are you third wheeling it with these two? Blah, blah, blah. And it turned out to be his birthday, okay? He was super hot, and I was like, he said, are you single? And he was like, yep. And I was like, oh shit. So then I started flirting with him, and he started flirting with me back from the audience, right? Which I'm not used to. Usually I just intimidate the hell out of people until they cry in a corner. But he was flirting with me back, okay? Are you with me?
I am. I was just also agreeing that usually you intimidate people into crying in a corner.
I do. I'm intense. I'm a lot, and you just have to deal with it.
So there's a hot guy. He's a third wheel, and he flirted back with you.
Yes,
Not
and then
intimidated.
To break the ice, I asked him how strong his clavicles were because I didn't want my tits to, crush him. And I made him stand up and come to the stage so I could feel his clavicles like a psychopath. I did that.
It's a weird move. It's a weird move.
Oh,
Chelsea.
no, it's a dope-ass flex. I'm so proud of myself.
Okay.
So then I did that, and then I flirted with him the entire show. I was calling him my future. I was calling him my potential husband. I was flirting with him like crazy. And then he comes up to me after the show, and I give him my business card and stuff. And I was like, check us out on social media. And I just kind of threw it away, right? And then he goes, well, are you going to message me if I email you? And I was like, yeah, duh. And he goes, you say that to everyone. And I was like, okay, give it back to me. So I took it back, and I wrote my number on the back of the card, gave it back to him. And he goes, oh shit. Like it was super real. And he texted me before I even left the parking lot. He was like, hey, it's your future husband. Just saying hi.
Oh, wow.
Suzette, that is how we met.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And we've been talking 2 to 3 hours every single night since that day. And this weekend, I'm flying to Colorado Springs to go have a first date with him.
Oh, wow. Okay. That moved fast.
I mean, it's 2 weeks of talking to someone for 3 hours a day. Like, it's like...
Yeah, but... I mean...
And he's in his 40s. It was his birthday. Oh, my God. He got stood up that night, dude. He was supposed to be there with a chick, and the chick ghosted him, and he had to go to the club by himself. Hello?
Well, that's kind of kismet, because most people, if they were going to get stood up at a comedy show, they just wouldn't go to the show by themselves.
That's what I mean. But, I mean, he was going with his brother and his sister-in-law. That's why he was the third wheel, because it was like they were family. They were all, blah, blah, blah. And he went, and that's how we met. He got stood up, met me instead, and now we've been talking every single day.
But I mean, for you to go to Colorado Springs, right?
Okay, but that's what I was gonna say. He's 43. I'm almost 40. It's like we're at this age where we're like, we're not playing anymore. You know what I mean? Like a random hookup does not even interest me anymore. Stop it. I'm not doing that. So it's like, it's one of those things where we both know what we want. We've lived life. He's a single dad. I'm a single mom. It's like, let's talk about the real shit. Like, let's get it out there and not waste each other's time because, we don't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand completely. I'm thinking we're going to have to retool the show that we pitched when you and Heather were here because now it sounds like you understand dating very well and it's you're an expert at it in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say. It's incredibly untrue, but thank you so much for your encouragement. That's nice. That's very, very nice.
So what are you guys going to do for your first date?
Well, he actually said that he has some things planned. I know we're going to go to dinner. He wants to go to the steakhouse, which is kind of cool. He was like worried because I'm from California that I was a vegan, and I was like, no. I mean, I'm a fan of eating vegan sometimes, but it's like it's not like my life, you know. Like I'll eat a steak, that's fine. So we're gonna go to a steakhouse, but then he's like, and then I have some other things planned. So he's like trying, and it's cute, and it's like I'm not used to that, you know. So the fact that he is excited and nervous and anxious and wanting to, you know, do things right and, you know, surprise me and be fun and spontaneous. That part is like, that's all I want. That's it. So there we go.
Well, you got it.
We'll see. I don't know. But next week is our first date, and by then we will have been speaking for 3 weeks, like kind of long distancey. You know, but it's like we're yeah. When you get to this age, it's just like, let's talk about the important shit that matters. You know, I don't want to hear about your, you know, most favorite subject in high school. I don't want to hear about your you know, favorite color and like, it's like, let's talk about the real shit. You know, and so we're pushing past all of this, and just people would say, I think if I was any younger than I was, or in my 20s or something, this would seem very, very fast. But because we are who we are, we've lived what we've lived, we've done what we've done, and we're the age that we are, it doesn't feel fast to me at all, you know? No. And I also have to remember that everybody else's fucking opinion, I don't need it. It's just how me and him feel, because him and I are the only ones involved. You know what I mean?
I do, but since this is called the Suzette Veneti Show, my opinion counts, and I think you're doing it right.
Oh, good. I was going to give you shit and tell you that your opinion doesn't matter, but the fact that it's the same with mine, I totally agree with it. Yes.
Well, okay, because here's the thing. You said long distancey, but, like, it's COVID right now. Everyone's long distance from their neighbors. Like, we're long distance from, like, the comedy clubs we perform at that are down the street. So is it, like, this is kind of the perfect time to do a long distance first date? Yeah. Get to know you.
You're not wrong. And the other thing is that he met me doing what I do. You know what I mean? He met me while doing stand-up. So he kind of saw that world. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's like, okay. And he also saw me and Miles working together on stage. So he saw that dynamic, like, with his own eyes. Because I've had past relationships who don't understand that I can have a straight white married man as one of my best friends. Like, they don't get it. You know, they immediately see that me and Miles are friends, and they're like, oh, you guys have hooked up. You guys have sex when you're on the road. You guys did it. And I'm like, no, that's like my brother. You know?
Yeah.
So the fact that he's seeing all these things just happen organically, and then we're talking about the shit that really matters, it's like, this could be a thing. Let's explore it.
So I am interested to know, because when I was younger and I dated, like, then I talked about stuff, not like what's your favorite color, what was your favorite subject in high school, but like before getting married, it was like, where do we want to live? How many kids do we want to have? What religion do we want to raise them? Public school, private school, you know, whose parents can move close to us and whose parents need to stay the fuck on the other side of the country. What are you guys talking about? Like, if you don't mind me asking.
No, that's it's actually a very good question, because we are both single parents. But he has full custody of the 2 kids that he has.
Okay.
So he could potentially uproot. He could. I can't, because I have, for, you know, majority of the time 50-50 with my ex. And so and my kid is only 4. So there's no way that I could uproot us and relocate away from my kid's dad. Like, I couldn't do that, you know. Plus, him and I didn't work, but him as a dad is great. He's a great dad to my son, and I will not move him away or fuck up that relationship, because their bond is very, very strong. So we have talked about that. He is actually originally from California, but he lived in like San Bernardino, so down south. But he loves the Bay Area, you know, like, it's one of those things, but he doesn't like the cost. California kind of sucks. So he doesn't like the cost of it, and he's like, how would we like live? How would it happen? And blah, blah, blah. So we've talked about it. And that's another thing that people are like, it's really soon that you're talking about that. And it's like, no, it's not. We're not making plans. Like, we're just talking about what ifs. Because if we talk about that shit now, it's like we're saving time. If this does move forward, we've already discussed it.
You're just being intelligent people. Like, you have to talk about the possibilities. Because if there are no possibilities, then there's no, like you said, and like, I'm in the same boat with you, like that, like 40-year-old-ish boat. Like, there's no time to fuck around. Like, I don't want to date you for fun for 6 months and then find out that, like, you're, I don't know, a Nazi and you like pickles. We're not compatible.
Right. I mean, if you don't know for 6 months that they're not a Nazi, then, I mean, there's bigger things that maybe you're asking the wrong question.
That I might figure that out, but like, pickles are like a sneaky thing. Like, you might not just eat at a place that has pickles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this went to a place I didn't expect, but okay, yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
I do.
I understand what you're doing, and I think those are important. Don't waste your, like, you're so busy, right? You're very busy.
And that's another thing. He does not understand that at all. And I think I'm a weirdo to multiple people. Like, a lot of people don't understand how I live or survive or do the things that I do. But I also don't work for anybody. Everything that I do, I'm working for myself. I don't have a boss. I don't clock in and out. I don't, have a schedule that I need to stick to. Every week is completely different, and I love that. So, and I'm also, I once I realized that, every job that I was clocking in and out of and, working for was making somebody else's dreams come true, or, making their profit go up and not mine. I was like, no, I don't like this. I want to work for myself. I want to be the one who I'm making the dreams come true for, So, so we've talked about that too, because he's never experienced someone as independent as me, or who has as many jobs as I do that are non-traditional jobs. And so he's fascinated by that, and it intimidates him a little bit, but he also is very old fashioned. And he's like, I'd kind of like to, I want to be the provider. I want to be the provider for my family and do this, and this. And I said, that's fine. You can absolutely do that. But just understand that, that's a mentality that I have as well, because I'm a survivor. So I'm not going to sit back and just let some guy who, sure, if we make a future together, we make a future together. But you have to understand that I want to feel like I'm pulling my own weight or helping with the family or this, and this, and let me fulfill the dreams that I have.
This is going to sound really cheesy and really like I'm trying to interject myself into this, but it sounds like he could benefit from watching the show that you and Heather and I talked about, like How to Date a Performer.
That's true. Oh, he totally could. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Because I mean, that is a thing. Like, that is an interesting aspect of it, because like I'm the same, like you and a lot of performers are. We have to hustle and we have to string together a lot of non-traditional jobs, or one traditional job and then a lot of other non-traditional jobs.
Right.
And it becomes so normal for us, and it becomes just part of life that sometimes I personally forget that that's not how other people are. Like, when I find out, like, when someone new starts comedy and they have like a job at a bank or like at an office, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Weird. And then I'm like, oh, well, they have to pay their bills somehow.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah. So and he doesn't know a lot about the stand-up world. So I'm finding myself like going back to basics, and it's like I'm pulling things from when I teach stand-up to brand new people who have never done it. I'm taking stuff from my own curriculum, and I'm like, this is how stand-up kind of works, and I have to network, and I have to, sell, and I have to, do schmooze a little bit and be on the road and make, stuff. So it's just, I'm teaching him, he's teaching me, and so far it's really, really good, and I'm optimistic. So stay tuned.
The good thing is, when it comes to dating somebody that like does comedy, and you certainly are a comedian, there's always a risk that the person that's dating that person is going to be like, don't talk about me in your skit. Don't talk about me in your jokes. But like, that was step one for you guys. That was before you ever met him. You were making fun of him. So if he wasn't comfortable with that aspect, then it wouldn't have gotten this far.
Yeah, it's true. And recently he's been hearing about, horror stories about exes that have been jealous of my stand-up, and they're like, you talk about an ex-boyfriend in your act, you have to take that out. Are you thinking about him? Is that why you're telling jokes? And I'm like, no, I'm telling jokes because they're funny. If it has to do with someone that I dated before, that's just coincidence. Get over yourself. And it's just this stream of, just self-conscious, guys who have no confidence in themselves. And they feel like what I'm doing on stage, they want to change it, when that's what originally got their interest in me in the first place. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know too well what you're saying.
It's really, really rough. And so I tell him that, and he's like, what? Like, the fact that he is appalled at all of the horrendous exes I have in my past. He's like, how did people treat you like that? Or how did they think that that's okay to talk to you like that? Or think that they could manipulate your career when it's what you've been doing for 12, 13 years now? You know what I mean? So I don't know. The conversations feel very different, more different than they've ever felt with anybody. And he feels like that. I feel like that. So it looks very good, and we'll see, because this weekend's really going to be the tell-all,
So, okay, when are you coming back? Are you going to miss the next show? Or are we going to have to wait 2 weeks? Or are we
I don't know, because actually part of me is like, if it's going well, he might be on the show with me.
That's what I wanted to know. I was like, do we get to meet him?
Yeah, we'll see. Because I will be coming home Monday morning. So I will still be in Colorado on Sunday. So if it's going well and he's down, I might just do it from his house and then just drag him on the camera. So
okay, yeah. I mean, maybe Jesse can make like a little nameplate that just says clavicles.
Yeah. His clavicles are strong. I'm very impressed. So, I mean, we'll put them to the test. But
I can't say I noticed clavicles right off the bat. Maybe that's what I should be looking for.
I mean, my joke is that I could break someone's clavicles with my big tits, so I don't know if you have anything to worry about. I mean,
ma'am,
it's fine. Relax. I didn't insult you for like 20 minutes, okay? Just take it.
Well, I mean, technically, you haven't insulted me for 2 weeks.
Oh, bitch, I insulted you through a video. How dare you? I called you tragic on a video.
Oh, I mean, but that was not live. So live insults from you are different.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was a really good, I'll let you go, but because you were about to wrap it up and go, I think. But it was a really good week for you to miss, because I had such a good day at brunch last week. My performances were so good. And so that's really what we talked about for like a really long time.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
good. I saw the pictures of you guys dressed up as the Sanderson sisters, and it looked really, really good. So
yeah. It was a good
bravo.
day.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, I'm going to go shower because I'm disgusting.
Okay, and also I wanted to let you know we had a lot of fun with Robbie, so thank you.
Oh, good. Isn't he a sweetheart?
Mm-hmm.
I love him so much.
Okay, you shower. You're probably going to message your Colorado guy, and we can't wait to meet him. Tell him the Suzette Veneti show.
Oh my God, I'm not even. Oh yeah.
Says hi.
Yeah. It's gonna be ridiculous. Okay. Well, have fun talking to Torio, and I will talk to you next week.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing that before you showered.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye.
Love you. Bye. All right, everybody. That was Chelsea Bearce. Her information was below her if you want to send her some coin. As always, the information for Stab Comedy Theater is above me if you want to send Stab Comedy Theater some coin. Remember, it's a pandemic. We're all performers. We're all doing this for free for you. So if you want to do that, that wouldn't be a bad thing, because we like money. The next guest is a comedian, and I am so excited to have him on. He's been part of Comedy Central's Clusterfest, and he performs regularly at festivals including Sketchfest. And in 2018, he was listed as one of the Bay Area's best stand-up comedians. Please give it up for Torio Van Grol.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Am I giving it up for myself? Thank you.
Well, I mean, we can't hear the people, but I'm assuming there's like raucous applause.
Applauding. Standing?
Yeah, probably.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
So, Torio, what have you been up to during the pandemic?
Nothing. So much nothing. What have I been up to during the pandemic? A lot of crying in the shower. Zoom comedy. Is this Twitch? We're on Twitch. I heard that's good. I need to get on Twitch.
We're on Twitch. Is this your debut on Twitch?
I don't have my own Twitch channel. I've done some other twitching.
Okay.
Is that what it's twitching?
I'm not actually sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm too old for Twitch. Yeah.
Thanks for popping my Twitch cherry.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So you have been doing.
Chelsea's so funny. I'm so excited. I got to see Chelsea in 2020. I haven't seen her since life was normal.
Right. I know.
So you made that happen, and I'm thankful and grateful.
Oh,
It's
you're
hard to
welcome.
be grateful in 2020.
I usually we have Mean Dave, but he couldn't make it tonight. So
I'm fine with not seeing Mean Dave, but I got to see Chelsea.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, everyone wants to see Chelsea.
Yeah.
Come back to the show sometime. She's
Worked out
here
perfect.
more
Extra
often than not.
Chelsea, less Mean Dave. That's my recipe for happiness.
Okay, I will make sure if you come back that we can try to accommodate. Although I do love Mean Dave.
No, of course I love Mean Dave. I like hating Mean Dave. It's part of the fun of Mean Dave.
It is. It absolutely is. Okay, so you said you've been doing Zoom comedy. How do you like Zoom comedy?
I don't like it as much, right? Which I think is everybody's.
Yeah.
We have fun. So I live with two other comedians in LA. I moved here right before COVID started, so good timing on me. And we do a show every Thursday, or now we've kind of changed it to once or twice a month. But it's fun that we built a little stage in our room. And so because we're all kind of, it's the three of us in front of one computer, it feels a little bit better than your normal Zoom comedy. And it actually is a lot of fun.
So wait, you guys talk at the same time?
No, but we hand the mic to each other in between sets. So it feels like you're watching just at a comedy. We've made our own little comedy club in the living room. So it's not as, we're not jumping from computer to computer. So it just feels like a little more, I don't know, clean or something.
Yeah.
And it's been fun because I love them, and we have pretty much, I don't know how it is with you, but we pretty much get the same people every week. So we write new material every week, and most of it's about COVID and the world ending and the impending civil war. And it's nice to just kind of all panic together. And I guess that's what Zoom comedy is. It's just us making the best of whatever this is. And so how do I like it? I don't really I know you don't know me super well, Suzette, but I don't like most things. But I'm trying to, it is what it is, and make the best of it are kind of my slogans for this year. So,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, that's...
I love it. I just keep saying that to myself in the mirror. I love Zoom comedy.
So
I love it.
This is I think the 29th episode of this show. And we've had a lot of comedians. And so we talk a lot about Zoom comedy. Is it comedy? Yeah. Is it stand-up? And the funny thing is we started the show, I think, the second week of April. So we were pretty quick. And at first, all the comics that would come on, me included, were like, no, I'm not going to do a Zoom comedy show. It's not stand-up comedy. Because especially me, like you just said, we don't know each other too well. So you're very good at comedy. I am just past open micer, right? So I need to hear the feedback from the audience personally. Like I need, for my rhythm, I need to know how far I can go with a joke. Like if they're not digging the joke, I'll still tell the joke, but I'm not going to double down and tell another joke that's in that direction.
Yeah,
so,
that's the best part about stand-up comedy is the instant feedback.
Yeah.
There's no other, you can sit, like a lot of people, comics I know during this time, like, well, I'll write scripts, I'll write a pilot, I'll write a screenplay, and you can spend a year doing that, and you don't know if it's good. Whereas stand-up, the beauty of it is like go up there and sink or swim. And so yeah, I miss that. That's why with our Zoom show, we beg people, please unmute yourselves. And even then, even the best Zoom show, if you feel like you crush it, you still don't have that high. I think that's why it's so hard to say I love Zoom comedy, because it's like, well, I don't leave feeling like you know what I mean? Like that, just like that inexplicable thing that we're addicted to is so hard to get.
I was gonna say the crack. It's like crack. Like you need that audience.
Yeah, I mean, we're all messed in the head and we need validation, and it's hard to get that on Zoom. So yeah, I guess, but I know what you mean. We've all come to like get used to Zoom. And it's,
yeah,
you know,
I mean, I've had a couple of comics that have said this is I think you'll agree with me. A couple of comics have said like, oh, I think Zoom is the way of the future. People aren't going to want to go back to comedy clubs. People aren't going to want to go out back in public ever again. And I'm like,
I think people thought that for a little bit. There was like kind of like, oh, this is cool, you know, because it's like I can do 3 shows a night without leaving my room. But I've noticed that I don't think that's what like, because I've started to do shows in real life again, and those things are selling out fast, whereas Zoom comedy is kind of plateauing or even going down a little bit. So I think like the audience is gonna, you know, control that demand, and I don't think it's gonna thrive online. Maybe it won't go away completely, but there's just magic in a comedy club that's done right. Whereas online, you know, you can do anything online. You can watch people fuck. You can watch sport, you know, anything. TV shows, crafted things. So like stand-up comedy, I don't think will ever, you know, I don't think it'll ever be super high demand on Zoom. But maybe that's just me being old-fashioned and hoping that. But I don't think so.
well, I think it's live like people really like live performance. Like I don't know if you heard me talking to Chelsea. We've been doing a drag brunch for 2 months now, since August 30th, and we've sold out 10 shows in a row. Because people want that, and I think some Zoom shows, some streaming things that people are doing, I think are gonna last after the pandemic. But by and large, I think people just want to get back. People want to be around people, and people want to laugh with other people, and they want to meet you know, at a comedy show.
Yeah, I don't even think people know they needed it like they do, you know, because at first they're like, oh yeah, Zoom's, you can just do it here, but then it's like it's just not the same.
Yeah. Is there anything that you like more about the Zoom comedy show than regular comedy?
Muting people, that's it.
You
know, I wish I could have one mute in a comedy club where I could just mute. You know, you can actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even like that as much. I love having a heckler get in my face and kind of being in charge of that. But I guess I did an outdoor show in like a downtown area. So the thing about outdoor shows is a lot of times you can be heckled by like motorcycles or cars or just drifters walking by. And so I think that was my first or second show back in real life. I was like, oh yeah, I have to learn again how to like handle a heckler. Because on Zoom, you know, you can just boot them from the room. And I think that's another reason Zoom isn't as good as comedy in real life. The stakes aren't as high. You know, you're not all alone, vulnerable up there. So yeah, I guess no, I don't think there's anything Zoom bad other than like I can just, if I bomb, I can just close my laptop and just roll over, and my bed's right here. I can literally just cry in my bed faster than normal, which is a perk.
It's a perk, but I think you hit the nail on the head when you said the stakes are high. I've never thought about it that way or heard it put that way, but there are really high stakes with doing stand-up comedy. It's the only art form that you want people to interrupt you because you're doing well.
Totally.
So
and even like, I mean, we've all bombed, and that walk off stage to the back of the room after a bomb, there's nothing. That's a real moment, and that defines you. I mean, it hurts so much, but it also was like, that's what makes crushing feel so good. You know, it's the peaks and valleys of it all, and that doesn't exist on Zoom. I don't know.
I have bombed a lot, enough.
Right, but then the flip side is it's on stage, it's lower lows, right? Bigger
Right.
bombs, you feel it, but
Mhm.
then higher highs.
But you know, I remember my bomb. I was just talking to a friend about the first time I really bombed, and it's funny. I mean, the story's funny, but I learned so much from it. Even if I don't know what I learned, I know I learned from it, and I'm like, I don't want that to happen again. I need to do better, so I don't have to feel that feeling.
Yeah, there's nothing more motivating than a bomb.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is I've bombed, but I've never been heckled. So, you know, outside, inside, what do you do when you get heckled?
I dive in. I love the talking to people. I'm not great at crowd work, but I love it. I love talking to them, figuring it out, trying to make a joke. You know, if you can like get people to laugh at something in crowd work, talking to some idiot that heckled, and even get, you know, like a semi-decent laugh, that feels better than like something you've performed a bunch of times that gets like a loud pop. It's like, yeah, that's good, but I know that joke's good. Whereas
Yeah, absolutely.
yes, I like being talked to.
I-
To a degree, you know, like it varies.
I get talked to, and I do crowd work, but I've never been like mean heckled, which is I'm kind of I don't even understand how that's possible because I've done stand up enough where I should have been heckled at this point. Only by Chelsea on my own show do I get heckled.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we kind of consider anything heckling. I mean, probably the worst hecklers are the ones that don't know they're heckling, you know, like they're just saying your punchline, what, you know, stepping on a punchline or yelling something out that's they think is the punchline. But yeah, you're right. The bullying heckling isn't as, it's pretty rare.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right also. Like, now we're just saying each other's right, but the people that are guessing the punchline, that's pretty terrible. That's happened enough times to me where I'm like, yeah, well, but
Yeah, or even I was talking with a roommate about this, is like, you know, you skip a beat and there's silence in between the misdirection of the punchline, and if someone talks or yells something in that beat, it ruins the flow of a joke, and which is, you know, and again, that's what's going to happen, right? So then how you handle that, I guess, I think kind of, you know, shows how good a comic is, and it's fun to watch that once or twice during a set. But if it happens like all show, it's just like, what are we doing? This isn't.
Well, that's when security needs to be the mute button and
Right, exactly. Yeah,
take care of it. So you just moved to LA before the pandemic. And I hate to even say this, but right before the pandemic, you also dropped an album.
Yeah, same month.
And your calendar on your website is full of dates through like April and May and March. I know how much it sucks, but like, tell the audience like how much that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, not being able to like tour with the album and kind of like carry whatever momentum that gets you. It's a bummer, you know. You have some clubs set up and it just all goes away. You know, I kind of timed it with the LA thing, so I'd be able to, like, when you move to LA, there's not a ton of stage time. You have to kind of start over to a degree. So like, okay, well, I'll have my road work around it, so I'm not going crazy, not doing shows. And yeah, it all fell apart for everybody. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm lucky in a sense that like the money I generated from the album came at like the time I needed it the most with the pandemic. Also, you know, the pandemic's forced me to write new material, which I needed to do anyway because the album's out. So, you know, those are the good sides of it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, comedy-wise, I mean, stand-up comedy is suffering, so I feel like this is just more of that. So, you know, I don't know if it's going to generate new material, but it's at least put me in a spot where I'm stuck in my room all day, so I might as well write. So I don't know. Yeah, it sucks. The timing sucked. But I think it would, no matter where you're at in your comedy career, 2020 sucks. 'Cause, you know, it's not or any career probably, unless you like own Amazon or something.
Yeah. Or
But,
I don't know, like a mask company, like you make masks.
yeah, math company, anything. It's a lot of evil stuff. But yeah, for artists or it's always funny to call us artists, right? Whatever, entertainment.
No, I mean we are artists. It's
I know, right?
entertainers,
But-
artists.
I-
Do you get to like, can you release your album again, like the same one, or is that possible, or how do you feel about that?
No, I mean it's an album. It's online now. I'm glad it's online. I'm happy with it. People want, yeah, I have all these vinyls. That was gonna be that. I guess that's the bad part. It was like I was gonna tour and be like, hey, you want to buy a vinyl? And it's kind of a cool thing. But I was able to, sell some online and beg people and everything we do. And but no, I'm not gonna re-release it. Yeah, no, I'm excited to have to work towards a new hour, and yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not gonna re-release it. It's there. Go find it. People can find it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
And it's
no,
like-
that's I've
Kind of
never.
a nice divide where it's like this is all my pre-COVID stuff, and the world is different now. So I'm not saying all the jokes on the next album are gonna be all COVID related. Of course not. But it'll be a new, it'll be a new person as post COVID. I think we're all changing
Right.
a lot. So it'll be like a nice looking back on it in my old age. I can kind of be like, yeah, this was that period of my life. The first 8 years of stand up that are pretty formative, and then this was post Civil War II album.
Well, it's like if someone gets married, or if someone goes to college or moves abroad, like your perspective changes.
Yeah,
and
totally.
so your comedy, it doesn't have, all your jokes don't have to be like married jokes now, but
Yeah.
you're just coming from a different place. So I get that.
Totally.
When you do live comedy, because you do like live comedy,
Right.
what's the most interesting venue that you've performed at?
Oh, most interesting venue. Man, I want to think of something really cool.
Do you want to come back to it?
No. I want to answer it. I just want to give you, I'm trying to think like Bike Shop, some of these, there's a Don't Tell comedy. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I
They
have.
do shows that are like the audience finds out the address the day of, and it's kind of perfect for COVID rules because no one knows the address until the day of. It's BYOB, super fun. So there's been some interesting venues for that. Bike Shop, I can think of people's living rooms, sometimes like a mansion. We do them at like WeWorks, people's offices, art galleries. But I'm trying to think like the weirdest one. Oh, I've done a tour bus. That was weird for like
Oh.
8 people in a tour bus. That was a fun idea. I did that in San Francisco. Samantha Gilwhite put it on, and she kind of picked up comics on the route and then dropped them off and picked up. I remember we picked up Scott Capurro in the Castro, which felt right. And,
Yep, that's right.
But yeah, it was like a mini tour bus, 8 people and like a cooler of beers, and you just got on, and there was a mic that wasn't even plugged into anything. It was just a prop, and that was fun.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it should catch on. I don't know why it didn't. I think it would have. It wasn't like it failed or anything. I think everyone loved it. But yeah, it's a lot of, producing shows. It's work. So
Yeah, we talk about that on the show a
How
lot.
much steal that idea from her if she's not doing it? Do some shows on moving things.
I like the concept of like picking up comics. I mean, the timing
Yeah.
of that is interesting, where you have to time it right for their set before you get to
Yeah.
the Castro.
No, it definitely takes some finesse,
Yeah,
which comics are bad at, timing wise. And getting a comic to come to a show is hard enough, but have them be at like a bus stop at a certain minute.
yeah, like and then they're getting dropped off at a new place. So
Yeah, and then they're on their own.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that works in LA. Like, good luck.
Definitely working out. No, it has to be a San Francisco or New York thing, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
Somewhere small.
It would really work in New York.
Yeah.
San Francisco, I hate walking in San Francisco. It's way bigger than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Scott, actually, he was on the show, and he thinks he's going to keep doing his Instagram shows post-COVID. So
I mean, that makes sense because Scott can just talk for an hour and it'll be interesting.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
No, he's a machine. He just spits out jokes nonstop.
And his fans love him, and he's great.
So
yeah.
what do you... We kind of touched on this. What do you actually like about stand-up comedy?
Yeah. Kind of what we talked about, the thrill of it. It's kind of like... I think this time, COVID, I mean, it makes everybody kind of step back and like evaluate your life choices and where you are and why am I doing it? Because like I think when you're in stand up for a few years, it's just like you're just in the machine. You're just like, I got this show this night, and when that all is kind of taken away from you, or like, do I even love this? Why am I doing this? And I don't know the answer. I don't know if this is worth it. I've just turned 34 and I've been doing this 9 years, and that age 25 to 34, that's a pretty solid part of your life. And I question, I could have had money and a family and not roommates. But I think stand up, restarting, getting back on stage, it's kind of like, it's been a nice reminder of like, okay, yeah, there is nothing cooler than just like captivating a crowd of people for a half hour or 40 minutes or 10 minutes, and but it is kind of like what we said, like there's an addiction to that feeling that's kind of inexplicable. I think people that are have been in a crowd of stand-up show, they get it. They're that kind of like that magic feeling, and when you're kind of the one driving that, there's something really cool about it. I don't know, honestly, if it's worth the sacrifices and the time, but I don't regret it. What was the question? What do I love about stand-up? Yeah. Probably the free drinks, mostly.
Drink tickets, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody the other day asked me if I had a kid, like, would I be disappointed if they did this, if they did that, and if they did stand-up comedy wasn't one of the questions, but I just said no, I'd just be disappointed if they do that, because it can ruin your life, but it can also be so amazing.
Yeah, totally.
It like it ruins your life, but it gives you a life.
Totally. Yeah, like I've had that feeling where I'm like, comedy saved my life, and then it ruined the life it saved.
Right.
It's like I don't know. It's just like anything like really great is, like we said, low lows, high highs, and I think overall, I'm digging. I'm still in it. I never had a plan B, and I get to meet amazing people like you, Suzette, through comedy. So
likewise.
I'm not gonna.
Are you glad you started at 25?
Yeah, I think for me that's when it had to happen. I think some people are like, do you wish you started earlier? And I'm like, well, I wish I needed to start earlier, but for me, I didn't know what I wanted, or at 25 I was still stupid, didn't have a voice. But I think that was when it worked out for me. I mean, you see people that start at like 15 and they're on Saturday Night Live when they're 20 and they blow up, and sure, that'd be nice. But for where I was at, graduated college, didn't know what I was going to do, bartended for a few years, and then it just kind of all happened. So
right on. Yeah, I wish I had started earlier. So
yeah, I mean, I think we all wish we started earlier, because we're climbing this stupid ladder someone made up, or we make up in our own heads, and we think if we started earlier we'd be higher up, but that might not be true. I think you start when you're ready.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite city to do comedy in?
I really like, I really like Minneapolis.
Okay.
They've always been cool. The scene's been cool to me. I've gotten good shows there. I feel like I fit right in. You know, I'm fat. I'll be honest, it's mostly white people.
It's mostly white people.
Not
It's
that
like
that's
all
what I
white
want in a
people.
crowd, but I'm just saying I look like one. I grew up in San Diego, but like this isn't a San Diego vibe. You know, it's a Midwest vibe.
Yeah.
And love San Francisco, hate LA comedy. New York is fun to be. I don't know if it's the greatest crowds. But yeah, I don't know. Something about Minneapolis is always called to me.
Really?
Where else? Seattle. Cool up there.
Okay.
Hate. I'll just tell you what I hate. Most places. Yeah. I've never really done the South, but I'd probably hate it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like all the places you just named, it's not like if you like Minneapolis, you're not gonna love Savannah, you know?
Yeah, probably not. Hated Orlando.
Oh yeah, there's nothing really. Orlando.
Yeah,
I think
not
if you're
home.
not going to Disney World, what's there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Minneapolis, I'm assuming that you've been in the summer and the winter.
Yes, I mean winter's great for comedy there because people don't go out.
Right.
Summer it's harder to draw because there's like 3 months they're allowed to go
Oh yeah.
enjoy.
No, people don't want to do anything. They're like, I don't want to be inside.
I've only been there, I think, in the fall, not like hard summer, and then spring and winter. So yeah, I mean it's if you can get a cold comedy club, Wisconsin, Minnesota, like January, February, you can sell out no matter who you are. So that's always if you send your avails and they offer you June or January, if you're just for any comics watching, pick January.
Okay.
Because as long as your plane lands safely, you were going to make some money. So
Good to know. Good tip.
Yeah.
Are you able to use the same jokes in all the cities you go to that you like? Or do you have to do you have Minneapolis jokes specifically?
I mean, the only jokes that I can't do are like tech jokes. You know, I mean, coming up in the Bay, you have those. But even some of those you can use. People know shit on some tech people a little bit. But yeah, it's fun to it's fun to see how a joke does in one city versus another. You know, I was talking to my roommate about like sometimes you're in a more conservative part of the country, so you'll like maybe I guess water down a joke. You know, like I don't want to go as hard on religion or something, and then it's like all you're doing is make that joke less funny.
Right.
You know, it's like just say it and either just let it bomb, or let it do, you know, or just see if the joke can work here. So that's kind of something that's still hard to do. You know, sometimes I'll do like my religious stuff, but I'll come from a spot of like, I'm religious. See, I'm one of you, but I make fun of it and it's fun. But it's like, I'm not religious. Why am I trying to relate to these people? So yeah, I think for the most part in America, most of your jokes work, no matter, you know, a funny joke's a funny joke.
Yeah, but that's good advice. Like, because I've done that. I've watered down jokes. Like, I'll be telling a joke and like I'm making fun of Republicans, and then I'll remember that the crowd is mostly Republicans.
Yeah, it's like if you try to like come at them from a spot where it's like, I'm Republican, you know, or like I'm just like you, and it's like, no, we know you're not like us, so make fun of us or don't, you know, don't go, you know, 1 foot in the water kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And
What I did was like I kind of neutered like a punchline, and I didn't go with the tag that I like. And thinking back after what you just said, like it really just made it less funny. Like I should have just gone for it. Maybe they would have laughed.
It's almost like and then you're left with your own bad taste in your mouth, and you're like, why? So I try it, you know. But then at the same time, I don't know, you can probably tweak jokes in certain parts of the world. There's no one way to do this. So, but yeah, for the most part, like, yeah, that was something I learned pretty recently. It's not like I learned this right away where I was just like, I'm just going to do the joke. And if it bombs, hopefully they'll like the next one, or I won't. You know, I've never had someone physically assault me. I know it happens like once a year. Maybe you hear a story, like, you're going to be fine. Tell a joke. Worst case, you don't get booked at a place you don't want to be at anyway. And, you know, I don't want to see the comedian that can crush every room. You know what I mean? Like, that person's too, I don't know, it's like, if you can relate to everyone, then I don't think you're relating to anyone, kind of an argument. That said, there are 10 comedians probably in the world that can crush any room, but we're just, we're not that.
Oh no, I'm definitely not. But that you know Ellis, right?
Yeah.
So he was
He's
on
great.
2 weeks ago, and we were talking about Sacramento comics, and I was saying that Cheryl, the soccer mom, like I've never seen her have trouble in any room. Like, I don't know if she's relating to every room, but
Right.
like everyone finds her hysterical.
That is a good point. Yeah, I mean, but that's someone who's like found their voice
Right.
and is unapologetic about it.
Also,
Yeah.
Minneapolis, like Minnesota, based
Did she
now.
move back there?
She is back there now.
So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible, but I don't know. If I'm never bombing, then I like kind of what we said about the high stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't know if I'm gonna. Well, is it as exciting? I don't know. Maybe. I certainly don't want to bomb often, but
Yeah, I'm not close to the place where I would say I'm not bombing and I'm crushing every room. So you said
but
that the
also-
worst.
But like, even if you ask Cheryl, I bet
Uh-huh.
I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I bet she'll say, "Of course I still bomb," because you frame how you bomb differently in your own head. Like people might say like, "Oh, you never bomb," and I'm like, "Well, just because I can make people laugh, a few times a set, like for how we frame what a bomb is just different for every person." So I'm sure nobody's perfect, and I'm sure she would, or anyone would say, I don't know what the point I'm making is, but
Well, I think what you're saying, it's relative. So I was just actually
Yeah.
talking at brunch today. I was talking to a drag queen about this, about a comedian I know, and I'll watch the comedian, and the crowd will love him, and then we'll talk after the show, and he'll be like, "Oh, that was crap," and I'm like, "Yeah, but the crowd loved you," and he's like, "Yeah, but I bombed," and I'm like, "I know you think you bombed, but like what you don't realize is like." And I'm not trying to minimize like your own standards for yourself, but you have to realize that the crowd doesn't think you bombed. So at least take that,
and we're all so neurotic. Sometimes people just need a compliment, and they're like, "Oh, I'm terrible," and it's like, "Okay, dude, you talk the way you need to talk. I think you did great. I'm not gonna sit here and massage your ego all day." But yeah, I mean, none of us. I don't want to hang out with the guy that's like, "Crush it again," and I'm like, I don't want to hang. Those people are just as annoying as the people who are like, "I bombed every time," and I'm like, "Come on, man, just be a normal human."
The worst one is like it especially happens at open mics where people get up and they'll get off and they'll be like, "I crushed it," and I'm like, "Really?
Oh, dude.
You thought the silence was crushing it? Okay."
Yeah. Dude, the delusion's wild. Yeah, I had a comic, dude, he bombed for 30 minutes, and I was like, man, I really struggled up there for the first couple jokes, but then I got him. And I'm like, I think you just went into like a weird coping mechanism where you stopped hearing the bomb. You bombed longer than I've ever heard a bomb last. And it's we all have our defense mechanisms and how we interpret things, and yeah, like you said, it's all relative.
It's relative, but I do enjoy the delusional.
Yeah.
And watching them. It's like a what do you call it? A guilty pleasure. You said the worst thing that'll happen if you tell a joke wrong is you won't get booked at a place you don't want to go back to. And you also mentioned LA is not your favorite place to do stand-up. Is there another city that you don't want to go back to? You don't have to say if you don't want to.
No, I mean, I would go back anywhere. Portland's got a weird vibe. Like, I'm not edgy or political. And it's not so much the crowds that I've experienced there. The comics there it just seems like a uptight scene. A lot of like, you start hearing drama about a scene you're not even in, and I'm like, I don't know. I just want, I want to do this show and that show, and I don't want. So I'm never like eager to go there. It's also not as close as it feels. I think people in San Francisco and the Bay are like, "Oh, Portland's the next city up," but it's so far.
It's 11 hours, yeah.
Yeah, so far, and it sounds closer than it is. and so I'm never like eager to go back to the Pacific Northwest. But you know, I'm a comic, so I'm probably gonna say yes.
Yeah, if
someone
they
asks.
book you.
Yeah, and but yeah, and it's always like, I feel like with comics too, we have short memories, so it's like the last city I crushed in is my favorite city, and the last city I had a bad experience in is my least favorite city, and that can flip, you know, month to month or however often you go back to a spot.
Yeah, it can.
Maybe I'll hate Minnesota next time I'm out there, like never coming back. But then, you know, at this point, I would just love to get some booking emails. It's been so long. I'm like, yeah, I'll come. I'll come at a loss.
So speaking of being booked, you're actually doing a live show on November 28th.
Yeah. Yeah. Up in Sonoma, California, not too far from you. Lori Kilmartin's headlining, so I'm excited. Got some friends. Yeah, I love that part of the world. I went to school in Sonoma State, so it's always fun to get back up there. I don't have many friends left from school, but still have a few, and it's cool to to go up there and be such a part of such a good show. And I did this outdoor show twice already, since COVID restrictions eased, and it's cool. People want comedy, and it's, of course they do. We all want, and it's so weird.
So this is an outdoor show in Sonoma?
It's outdoors, yeah, socially distant, which you know, best we can do right now.
Well, it's interesting because like Chelsea was saying, she did a show in Wisconsin, and it's
Yeah, they're doing indoors out
indoor,
there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then our brunch is indoor too. Like we're reduced capacity for what we can have inside,
Cool.
and we're socially distant. Like tables are far apart, and you know everyone's being safe.
Yep.
And we had to get a certificate from the city and signed off. But I'm wondering how long until, and Laughs Unlimited here in Sacramento is doing indoor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember. I mean, yeah, and now they're talking about, you know, England's closing down again. Are we going to follow?
yeah,
I have no idea. So it's like, and people judge, you know, you get some of that like weird internet judgment where it's like, I don't know if this is safe. You know, I've had some comments like that, like, oh, it's a super spreader event. And I'm like, and I'm not even upset with that because I'm like, you might be right. I don't know. I don't know what any of this is.
yeah.
But I'm going to do comedy if I can.
But I
but-
think it's not a super spreader event if people are being responsible and like the audience is wearing masks and you're standing. Like I think my favorite mic that I've seen isn't a specific one, but it's the type of one where somebody stands on like the pitcher mound at a little league park, and the fans sit in the stands. Like that's so. I want to do that show. I want to stand.
Yeah, I saw that
on the
San
mound.
Francisco, right?
What's that?
Yeah, I've seen that. They've been doing that in LA and in San Francisco. I've seen those too.
I saw. I think the first person I saw do it was Melissa Villaseñor, and then I've seen a bunch of other people doing it, and like I wouldn't want to do a drive-in. I want to do the little league field. Like, put me in, coach. You know.
Totally.
So November 28th in Sonoma. If anyone's watching, go see
totally.
Torio. Go see Lori Kilmartin. Who else is on the show?
Irene too, so
Okay.
funny, and Ryan Goodcase. So
Oh.
there's no weak comic. It's all maybe me, but Ryan,
No.
Irene, and Lori all so good. And you know, it's 85 tickets, and that's all it can fit on this outdoor space. So buy them. That's the one cool thing about the outdoor social distancing show is like, even if it's not, first of all, this show will sell out, absolutely. But even if it didn't, it'll look sold out. You know, people will be like, "Oh, you can't tell if it's sold out, or maybe people are just taking it super, super safe." You know,
Right.
everyone's kind of spread out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's so less. You don't have to be nervous about only like 10 people showing up because people want to come, and like. Especially with a headliner like Lori. I mean, it's gonna be good. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but it's gonna be a good show, Suzette.
All right, cool. Well, people watching, go to the show on November 28th in
Sure.
Sonoma. So you told the joke of the year right? In 2015 and 2017?
Yeah, I think it was a while ago. I don't know. 2015 probably.
Oh, I thought I read both. Did you have it just once?
I think it was just once.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say what happened in
Maybe it was
2016.
twice. Maybe it was twice.
Do you remember the joke?
I remember you know what's funny about this joke is it's a religious joke about this joke bombs a lot. But I think that's kind of what we were saying, like some jokes that the most memorable jokes or whatever, but it was essentially the premise, and I'm not going to do it, but I'll tell you the premise is and I would talk about grew up Catholic, and there's a part in the beginning of the Bible that says God created us in his own image, and I always thought that's pretty cool that we look like God, but actually if that's true and the first humans that God made were cavemen, then wouldn't that mean God looks like a caveman? Like that was the first mold, right? And then I just do an act out of God as a caveman, and it's fun. But I do like a caveman voice, and it's silly. It was, but yeah, for whatever reason, that joke won best joke of the year, and I love performing that joke because it is one of the, like, you have jokes where it's like, this joke's either gonna work, I know it's gonna work, or if it doesn't, like there's just something, then it is the crowd's fault. Sometimes it is the crowd's fault. Comics think like, oh, if there's a crowd, I'm going to do well. But it's like sometimes it's just they're not there. They think they're there to laugh. Maybe they're not there to laugh. But with the caveman God joke, it's certainly not the crowd's fault if it bombs. Sometimes it's just like, I just can't. I don't know. Maybe my heart's not in it. It's just a hard joke to do, and I'm not the greatest performer, and so I like doing it because I don't know how it's going to go, and. Yeah, that was joke of the year.
Right on. Was that something you were trying to get? Was joke of the year?
No. I mean, no.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was a thing at the time. I remember when it came out, that was like a courting comedy, I think, did that. I think that was the first year, maybe the last year. It's not as prestigious as it sounds, joke of the year.
I mean, you won the only joke of the year ever, so it sounds pretty prestigious.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like I don't know if the Oscars would be as prestigious if they just had one Oscars. You know what I mean? I think it'd be less. But yeah, it's always you get told no and so much rejection in comedy that like every once in a while when someone's like, yes, we think you're funny, it does feel it feels nice, even though it means nothing. Awards in comedy means nothing. So,
I mean, it's a resume filler.
Yeah, exactly. People read it and they think, wow, he's got at least one good joke. And then they hear it and they're like, it's not even that good of a joke. But that's okay, because Laurie Kilmartin's up next. You get to see her. You know.
Or they like it a lot and they're like, oh, that is the joke of the year.
Yeah, I have low expectations though. You know, that way if something goes well, I'm like, okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
I don't know why you have low. I do know why you have low expectations, because you're from San Diego, and you don't live there anymore. And I don't. Does anywhere come close to comparing to San Diego? Like, isn't it the most beautiful place on earth?
I love being able to go home to San Diego for a Thanksgiving or something. I know what you mean. It seems like paradise, right? There's a beach, there's good weather, but there's no real culture there, you know. And if there is, it's like surfer culture, and then like it's tons of military. Mm-hmm. So it's like you kind of get, if you do like because there's two clubs downtown San Diego, like Gaslamp, and if you do shows there. Love both clubs, but it's a lot of Marines and things like that. I don't know what I'm saying, but I never felt. I mean, like I said, my family's there. I love going home, but I never felt like a San Diegan. You know, I don't have that. I don't know what it is. Just that I don't take my shirt off. You know, I don't wear flip flops, and so it's a cool place to have a bed to sleep in when I go home for the holidays or to see the fam. But your question was, no, I prefer the Bay. I do. I really do love San Francisco a lot. So I actually like the weather there too better. It's cooler.
I mean, I think strong civic identity ties in with sports, and it doesn't seem like people love sports. I think like we were talking about in Minneapolis, like in the summer, people are like, I don't want to be inside anywhere. Why
Right.
is anyone in San Diego going to a Padres game? Like,
Sure.
there's a beach. So,
And, well, here is the weird thing, and not to negate, I am the biggest Padres fan. I love it. I love them so much. I've suffered so long with them. But yeah, I mean, we don't have a good fan base. Like when I go to a Padre game a couple times a year with my brother, maybe my dad, it's never sold out. And yeah, there's other stuff to do there. And yeah, it's not a city where it's like, fuck yeah, I'm from San Diego. You know, there's not like like there's the LASF rivalry, and it's like we're the little brother that doesn't even get like, oh, what? No, nobody's gonna
well,
fight in San Diego. And then at the same time, we're kind of cool with it. We're like, yeah, I don't want to be, or don't bother us, you know?
really chilled and laid back. I think people are going to notice, though. You guys have a pretty good team, and so I think
We do. Fernando.
yeah, it's going to cause ruffle a lot of feathers with people. So I think you'll probably be joined on the bandwagon by a lot of new fans.
I'm excited. Welcome. We have room. We have a lot of room. Get on.
What's it like to be in a city that lost a team in the Chargers?
It's tough. I was a big Chargers fan up until a few weeks ago. Up until when they moved to LA, it was like, I'm not going to be a fan anymore, because as a San Diego person, especially, and then living in San Francisco for so long, it's like I've always hated LA sports teams. And but I stuck it out with the Chargers just because I loved Phillip Rivers and some of the other players, Melvin Gordon. And then so when the Dodgers played the Padres in the playoffs this year, the Los Angeles Chargers Twitter posted pro-Dodgers, anti-Padres stuff, and I was like, dude, that's the last straw. I mean, moving was tough, but now you're gonna hate on the Padres. You can't do that. So I finally broke ties, and I watched the Chargers lose today, and I cheered for it, and it was nice to watch them break. I don't even know who's a Chargers fan anymore. I feel like I might have been the last one.
I think you might have, because everyone's really embraced the Rams.
Yeah. If anyone wants some Chargers gear, send me your address. I'll mail them to you. So it was slow. I mean, it sucked, man. Especially when they went to LA. If they had gone to Vegas or somewhere else, I'd been like, all right, fine, go make your money. But you're going to LA where no one cares about you. And but whatever. It's football. It's not big. If the Padres leave, I'd be heartbroken. Chargers.
I always thought it was weird because, like you said, nobody cares about them, and people really wanted the Rams. So why move? Why move to LA to be the Clippers when you can be?
No idea.
No
idea. Stuck there.
I mean, that's they also moved to LA from San Diego, but that's not what I meant. But why would you move anywhere to be the second fiddle when you can just stay where you are and be the main team? But
I don't know, man. I mean, it's got to be a money thing, but it's a bummer. I'm kind of glad it worked out this way. I hope he's and he did. I am kind of San Diego voted against the new stadium. It was like, listen, we're not going to pay. And so I'm glad they kind of stood up to Dean Spanos, the owner, because he's always sucked. And the city gave him a decent offer. And instead, he's leasing a stadium. He's leasing that stadium from the Rams. He's renting a stadium that the Rams paid for in a city that doesn't want them. And I'm glad they talk shit on the Padres, because now I was able to just cut ties. And I'm sorry I'm getting so upset. It's hard. It's like a breakup. And I've moved on.
Well, congrats, and I'm
Hey,
glad. Sounds
finally
healthy.
feel free. I can finally enjoy a Sunday afternoon. You know.
So your cousin also does stand-up comedy.
Yeah. Do you know Cooper?
No, I researched you. So I read that, and I don't know him, but what's it like? I'm the only person in my family that performs, and you don't just have another performer, you have another stand-up comic.
Yeah.
Is that fun? Is there like a rivalry, friendly or not, between the two of you? Like, do you love doing shows with him?
Yeah. Yes. I love doing shows with them. It's really fun. I don't think there's a rivalry. I hope there isn't. There isn't for me. I mean, I started a little bit before him, and I think the people that I consider competitive with are usually people that kind of started around the same time as me, and in the same city as me. And I think him and our comedy's different enough to where I don't think we'd ever be competing for the same gig. You know what I mean? So no, and it is nice having. We weren't super close before comedy. Um, we never lived in the same city, and so we'd see each other once or twice a year, and we were super friendly, but we didn't. We weren't super close, and comedies brought us together. I mean, we talk a lot now, and it is nice to have, those people in your comedy life that you can just vent about stupid stuff and talk about shows and try bits on, and he's one of those people, and yeah, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have him, and it could have gone worse. I mean, if other cousins were comics, if he wasn't funny, that would suck. I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
But he's funny, and he's doing well, and yeah, I like it. I haven't really ever thought about it like that, but it is cool to have.
That's
You should
neat.
you should. We'll adopt you.
Okay.
Come be a Van Grol cousin, and yeah, I don't know. It's fun.
All right. Yeah. No, I'm in.
Yeah.
I also read when I was like researching you that you like basement shows.
I do love basement shows. It's low ceilings are the best.
Okay. Why? Is it like you just like them in general, or they're good for comedy?
They're good for. I think I mean, super COVID unfriendly, I guess. But the closer everyone is, and a little bit of fear of the ceiling caving in around you. But my favorite venue ever was Last Weekend Video. I don't know if you ever got to go. It was in San Francisco. It closed down probably 3 or 4 years ago. But yeah, it was this video store. So like we all knew it was never gonna last. I mean, the fact that the video store was even open then.
Right.
Yeah, and so they had this basement, and it sat like 40 people, and it was just like you could have 10 people in there and it felt full. It kind of like Stab Theater. It has a vibe where it's so small that you can just kind of just stay. It's not Stab's not a basement, but it has that kind of like basement feel. It's everyone's kind of just crammed in, and low ceilings just makes the sound even better. You don't need a good sound system to make it pop. And there's some other good basements. We ran a show out of a pierogi restaurant in the Mission for like 3 months before the city shut down. They always get shut down, so that like this isn't gonna last. Like nothing in comedy lasts. Like even the best shows fizzle out at some point. So it feels a little legal and dangerous. And Doc's Lab was in a basement. That was a cool spot.
High
You have a
stakes.
basement? What?
I said high stakes. If it's illegal, like the even higher stakes.
Yeah. You feel like there's something to it. And does SAC have any basement shows? I don't know if I've ever done one out there.
No, we don't. But I do agree with you. I love coming to Stab. Whether it's a show, like the shows here are amazing, and then I love even just the open mic with like 3 people. It's become my favorite open mic. I don't know why. I do have a theory on basement shows though, if you want to hear it.
Sure.
On why you like the low ceiling. So I produce a lot of shows. That's what I do, and I mean I host them and I do comedy in them, but like I'm in them. I'm in shows when I produce them. So people will sometimes ask me like, "What's a good show? Like how? Like when you produce, like what do you consider good?" And or like, why do you consider it good? And I'm like, I consider it as long as the room is full, whether it's a 10-person room or if it's a 240, like our Punchline seats 240. So like you got to have at least like 200 people for that to feel full. But if you trap the energy, right? And I think that's what makes like a good comedy show. Because when there's too much space, it just feels like the energy's like escaping. But when the room is full, like the energy's bouncing from one person to the next, and it's bouncing off the walls and off the ceiling. And I feel like that's what makes people laugh more. I don't know another way to put it other than that. But I feel like the tighter the space,
room, you like, especially like if you've been in a room where like there doesn't feel like there's room for you, you know, and it's like I want to be in this room. Whereas when you're in a room with a bunch of empty seats, you're kind of like looking like I can't wait till I'm out of here. You know, I want to go see where's everyone else. I want to be where they are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is a weird, unseeable energy at a comedy show, no doubt.
I don't think Sacramento has a lot of basements. I think it's like a basement.
I don't think there's much. I haven't seen any basements in LA either. I think it's San Francisco, New York thing. Probably a lot in the Midwest.
Yeah, well, because I'm from the Midwest, and so there's basement. Like I just don't think basements exist here in Sacramento or LA, and I think that has to do with like when they were built and
totally
spaciousness. Yeah, like there's not a lot of space in San Francisco, so basements are a necessity. But in New York too, of course. Is there anything that I'm not smart enough to ask you that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think you covered it all.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a podcast, me and the roommates, Hesby Street. Check it out.
What is it? Just what's it about?
What's it about? You know, I wish we had a cool angle. It's just we started doing it again when COVID happened. You needed to have that outlet, so we started the podcast. It's mostly just Zach Chapeloni doing accents, and it makes us laugh. And we record it for our like 30 fans that come to our Zoom shows. And it's not going to blow up. It's not going to be the next Joe Rogan experience, but we have a lot of fun doing it. And some people have really liked it. And if you don't like a podcast person, just like we take the best clip of each week and put it on our Instagram. And those still make me laugh. It's like I was there, I watched it happen, and I'll watch it again and I'll be like, oh, you know, it really just makes me giggle. And so, yeah, that's kind of it. It's just three comics talking about our weird life in 2020. And it's not going to last forever, just like those basement shows.
Yeah.
I'm sure once we're all doing weekends again, we'll stop it, or we'll do it every once in a while. But
well, and eventually you guys might not live together, so that could
totally
be the end of it. So who's on that show with you?
Zach Chapeloni and Emily Catalano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's my roommates, and they're very fun. They're funnier than me, so it's nice to be with comics that are funnier than you because you can ride their coattails.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I love watching Emily when I can catch her live. So
yeah, she's so funny.
Definitely, people should check that out. Torio, that's the end of my proper interview. Are you ready for rapid fire questions?
Yes.
Okay. If you were performing tonight, what would your walk-up song be? Katy
Perry, Firework. I don't know why. It just felt right in the moment. Baby, you're a fire. You know, honestly, if you want an honest answer, when I get asked that question, I never ask. I'm like, whatever you want. I don't have a song that I'm like, I love this song. I want to come up to it. Also, my favorite band's Dave Matthews Band. Am I supposed to not give such a long answer? Is this rapid fire? So if I were to actually say my favorite song, I think I'd lose the crowd right away. And I don't want to do that, but I do love Dave. And they go every year.
But do you think maybe, like, if you came up to a Dave, like, which Dave Matthews song would you come up to?
Ooh, it's a good question because you want high energy. You know what? I might as well just go deep cut and just do like "Shake Me Like a Monkey," something people don't really even recognize. You know, something loud.
Because I feel like maybe
I'm not gonna come up and crash into me. You know what I mean? That's not me.
Oh, that's way too like expected.
Yeah.
Cliche even. But like I feel if you came on to a Dave song, like
gotta
it
talk
would
about
it would inform the crowd of who you were, you know?
But that's not what I want.
Okay.
I don't want them to know. No,
Okay.
no, no.
Fair enough. Then good
Yeah.
choice not doing
I want
that.
I want to trick them into thinking I'm a cool, likable person. That's always my goal with stand up.
Okay.
And then if they meet me after the show, they're like, "Oh, it was all an act," and I'm like, "That's right."
Fair enough. What is your favorite recurring show? You kind of covered this, but it was written in here, so I'm going to ask it. What's your favorite recurring show to do?
Ooh, so like, I mean, the Punchline Showcase on Sunday. I mean that there's like a certain kind of trauma you have going to Punchline every Sunday as a starting comic, and so when you kind of climb that mountain and then get to go up, fairly regularly, once a month, once every 6 weeks. That's a fun show. Last Week in Video, like we talked about, was so fun. The Mission Position every Thursday we did. But I mean anything Punchline. I know it's like cliche as an SF comic, and I feel like SF comics that like aren't past there yet are like, ugh, like. But yeah, so it's that goal we're all striving towards, and I just love that space, and I hope to God it reopens. I don't know what. Not that I've heard anything that it's not going to or anything, but COVID's just has me terrified.
I love this space. I'm not positive of this. I should ask, but I think I might have done the last show before they shut down.
Oh, hell yeah. So hopefully, I mean, that'd be a cool thing to say. You did the last show there, but hopefully you didn't.
No, I mean, I don't mean shut down forever. I mean just for COVID.
No, I know.
Yeah. Because we were there. I did my show there on March 10th. And then I was supposed to have a show here on the 15th at our Punchline, but everything closed on the 13th, 14th. So.
God, I remember that week I was supposed to go to Naples, Florida, and they wouldn't cancel. And me and the headliner were just like, we're not doing this, are we? And on Tuesday, so everything out here had closed that weekend. And they were like, no, we're still going to do it. And we were like, I mean, we didn't know what to do. Because like, again, like you have that comic mentality where it's like, I don't not do a gig. And then finally, like, I think we were flying out Wednesday or Thursday, and on Tuesday it was like official, like the whole country was like shut down.
That was that was the day that I did the show, was Tuesday the 10th, and
yeah, so like what a day. I mean, what a place to get stuck in, Naples, Florida. That was why we didn't want to do it. We were like, oh, if we were going to like New York City,
oh, for sure, then go. Yeah,
or
whatever happens.
Ground Zero at the time, but I was like, we're not going to get stuck in Florida for what? For $500 for a weekend? No thanks. And now you look back and you're like, man, if I could have just done one more weekend in Naples, Florida, what I wouldn't kill due to. Oh yeah.
I was bummed because we had such a good turnout, and I get Tuesdays when I do my shows in SF,
right?
And we had, I want to say, like 65 people, and I was pretty proud of that. And I had another show that was supposed to be in July, but obviously it didn't happen. So
yeah, well, just give it 3 more years and we'll finally be open.
Something like that. 3 years, and then I'll try again on another 2. Well, maybe I'll get 70 people on a Tuesday. Yeah. I think you might have just answered this one, but what's your favorite venue to perform in?
Yeah, it's got to be Punchline. I mean, kind of like what we said, it's got those low ceilings, man. It's just got those that griminess to it. That's why when Punchline was going to close pre-COVID, and they're like, well, it's okay, we'll get a new venue. And it's like, no, but it will be clean. I need you. There's a magic in this grimy, dirty, gross, broken down,
Well, and it feels very, like I was saying, it feels, I mean, it is extremely full of people when they have the showcase, but it's just so full when the showcase is happening.
And there's the history of it, and people in the crowd know. It's not just comics being like, oh, there's people.
Oh
in the
no,
crowd.
there's like a legit crowd.
Yeah, but it's also, but like they know that like this is where Dave Chappelle performs for 150 people. This is where Robin Williams, whatever, and it's like, yeah, there's a nostalgia I think the comics have, but also the crowd, and it's just a cool space, and I miss it. And the staff, you get to know the staff.
Oh, I know, I do miss the staff, but give it, like you said, 3 years, and
3 more years,
and we'll be back, and we could do a show together.
Right.
What's the funniest thing an audience member ever said to you after a show?
The thing that's coming to my mind is I have a cousin who was at a show, and it's happened twice, where they've told him good set, thinking it was me, and not my cousin Cooper that actually does comedy. And then they'll look at me and figure it out, and they're like, oh, you were funny. Oh, you were. And there's kind of that confusion. What's the funniest thing, though, that comics, like someone's told me? I always like, what I think is fun is when you host a show, maybe you've had this, and then they don't know that you're a they don't, like, in their head, they don't put together that you're a comedian. You're just and they're like, you should try that. You should
try comedy sometime too. Yeah,
thanks, man. Yeah, a pretty good idea. Maybe I'll try comedy sometime. It's like
I get that a lot, and I'm always like, thanks. Yeah. I'm not sure how to take that, but thank you.
It took years for me to craft that 10-minute set. Thank you. Have a good night.
Does that mean I'm good, or does that mean you think I could be good if I tried? Like,
sorry, I got it.
Oh no, that's all right. Who's your favorite comic?
It's always the question, right? I like I really like the people. I'm just gonna say right now, favorite comic, Nate Bargatze. He's my favorite. Growing up, though, David Cross is what made me fall in love. Shut Up You Fucking Baby was such a fun CD I had. I got to meet him at Sketchfest, which was cool. But like, if I was like, who would I want to see right now at Punchline? I think Nate Bargatze, best-selling, Kyle Kinane. Those are names that come up to pop into my head. I'm never like, oh, the legends, and it's like, they're great. I would love to see them too, but like, I feel like those names that I said, Rory Scovel, like those are the people that are like, they're at their highest peak right now, and it's fun to see those people at their best. Like Jerry Seinfeld or whoever, but it's like they're not doing that. That's not their best version of themselves. So I love seeing a comic that's like at their peak.
Oh, I'd love to see Rory Scovel. Like, that'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, and those are the comics that I love. Martin Norman's super funny, but yeah, Beth, I love Beth. I don't know.
What's the?
Chappelle always made.
Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead. No. What were you saying?
I was just gonna add Chappelle. He's still one of the legends that's still kind of at that level.
Yeah, I would say I agree. Like that is someone who's like a luminary, but also still producing at that place that made him a luminary. It's not watered down at all.
Right.
And I can't remember if I've talked about this on the show or not, but I think it's because I feel like Seinfeld is trying so hard to prove that he's relatable still, and it's like, but you're not. Like, you're not relatable. Yeah. Like, that's why are you trying to? Correct. Why are you lying to me? Like,
he's just kind of that example of like, people said he was the comic of a generation. It wasn't my generation though. I didn't watch Seinfeld, the show. I would never argue that he was not great at his craft.
I'm sure he was, but
yeah, it's not. I guess when people ask that question, for me, it's always like, I want to see who's doing it now. Like people are like, would you want to go see Carlin if he was still alive? And I'm like, I'd want to. No, I wouldn't. Like, I mean, sure I would, but I would never. If you don't get to see Carlin at his best while experiencing the life that he's making jokes about, it's not going to be as amazing as, like, I don't know, seeing. I just want to see people at their best during. I don't know if I'm wording it right, but yeah, that's kind of.
Well, I think maybe it's I'm I'm more of a sports fan than a music fan. I was gonna say
Right.
it's like seeing musicians like 30 years after their hit
Exactly.
album,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
well, they're not the same. But I mean, I can definitely say that with sports. Like, I don't want to see, you know, I don't-
Michael Jordan on the Wizards.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to watch Michael Jordan play basketball now. Like, it's not
Yeah.
the same as watching Michael Jordan play basketball in the '90s. Like, that was an experience. Now it would just be like, oh, he was good one day. Like,
Yeah.
cool. But let me watch the players who are actually still good,
Right.
because
yeah,
that's the level of competition. So yeah, that's a good one. What is your favorite thing about the existence of brunch?
brunch. Probably you get to eat breakfast, but you get to sleep in. That's nice. I like the fact that it's I'm not going to say mimosas or day drinking. I feel like that's the popular answer. I'm not going to take it. I like that I can have lunch. I can get a lunch, but with hash browns if I would choose. Or I could get breakfast with French fries if I choose. And that's my freedom. And brunch allows that.
It does.
And I thank brunch for that.
It does. I had tater tots today with eggs.
There you go. You don't have to have home fries. You can mix it up.
Yeah. But they hash the tater tots up, so they're like hash browns. So.
Oh yeah, they're like homemade.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you do. That what you do is you grate the potato like a hash brown, but you also grate cheese. You mix it in the egg, fry that. Now that's next level tater tot.
Well, that's a whole nother dish. I don't even know if I'd say that's a tater tot.
I'd say it's a tater tot. What?
Oh.
Because there's a little cheese in it. No big deal.
Fair enough. This next question, sometimes there's a transition question before it, sometimes there's not. There's not here. It's a weird question. What's your favorite sex position?
I like when I'm in. I like when the penis is in the side of the person.
It's a good position. It's a
My favorite
necessary
one.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, when it's outside, that's just regular life. Inside, favorite.
It's a good position. Do you cook or bake? Also a weird transition to that question.
I definitely cook more than I bake. I'm not good at either one.
Oh.
I wish I was. I can follow a recipe. but,
Really? So baking should be what you're better at.
It should be, but I don't like. I'm a savory over sweet. I feel like most baked things are sweet. Maybe that's why I don't like it, because I would prefer baking, the act of baking, but I don't like the product. Whereas cooking, I don't really like the act of cooking, but I like the product better. And so for that reason, I'm out, and I just eat out a lot.
It's a
That's why I look
conundrum.
the way I look.
Conundrum. If we are at the bar and someone's buying us shots, what are we shooting?
Whiskey, bourbon.
But like what kind of whiskey though?
What kind of whiskey? Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go like I can get anything. I'll probably go rye whiskey, maybe a Templeton rye.
Okay, yeah. No, someone's paying for it, so get anything.
Yeah, Templeton rye. I'm gonna. We're shooting it, so I guess I would probably prefer to sip it, but you're buying it. I'll shoot it with you. Let's go.
Well, the
Yeah.
next question is, what if someone's buying us drinks? What are we drinking? Same thing?
Probably either a Templeton on a ice cube or two, or I enjoy a beer, maybe an IPA, maybe a lager. Something. If I'm on the road, I always like to get, the local brewery, which is so cool that I know we have way too many microbreweries, but I'm like, let me get the local beer here. Makes me feel like I'm a tourist.
I would join you on the whiskeys, but beer,
Yeah. I
If
get
someone
that.
buys me a beer after a show, you can have mine.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Important question. Toilet paper, over or under?
Over.
Over, yes. Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah. Under it's an insane act.
I
Terrible.
thought it was, and like I said, this is like I think the 29th show, and so I ask every interview guest that same question, and I'm not as mad at the under people as I am the people that say they have no preference.
Say they have a preference? Oh, no preference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. I've never even met someone that insane.
I've gotten incensed with people, and I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a preference? Like, you're just
Like you put it on and whatever it is.
yeah, or like you're just a chaos toilet paper user. Like you don't
That's
have.
a person that doesn't deserve love. Is what that is.
I don't know how to. I don't know what to do with that. I'm like, what do you? So you just put it. Surely
That's
when you put it
that's
on,
when
like
you on the Zoom, you click leave meeting and you just say we're done.
yeah, I should let Jesse know that.
You are
so
no longer. You are cut.
We
cut
can't
their
be
mic.
friends. You're a toilet. You don't. You have no care.
Canceled. You're canceled. That's
Yeah.
what we. That's who we should be canceling.
Yes, cancel culture sucks, except for people that don't care
Sometimes
about
it's
their toilet
gotta
paper.
happen.
See, and you see what I mean? Like the under. I don't like the people that are under, but like I can't handle the people that don't have preference.
You're right. Buddy, I hated the under people, but now that I know a different people exist, I'm like, I guess the under people are, at least they stand for something, you know?
Yes. Yes, it's like Hamilton all over again.
Yeah.
Like Jefferson stood for something, but Burr, what does he doesn't
Yeah.
care about his toilet paper.
No, I mean, this has got, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Do you have a favorite drag queen?
You.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You should see other queens perform though, so you can have a more.
I've seen them all. You're my
Oh.
favorite.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will take that then. Do you have a favorite drag king?
A drag king.
Yes. Have you ever seen a drag king?
I don't know. No.
Okay. So
who should I check out? I love learning new things.
I'll recommend one.
Yeah.
There's on
Who's your
Instagram.
favorite?
My favorite?
Yeah.
My favorite is probably actually a San Francisco king, Buster Right Open.
Buster Right Open. Okay.
Mhm. But I was gonna suggest I think you should check out Buster, but on Instagram, Tenderoni.
Tenderoni.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Tenderoni's
Alright,
a pretty interesting king.
Okay.
Okay. Do you think I'm pretty? Would you date me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Let's do it.
thank you. Thank you. The
But I mean,
the
you should know
webcam.
that I am super alone.
Say it again.
So my bar is low. But I'm glad you feel good that I said yes. But I don't know if I'd say no to anything at this point in 2020. But yes.
But I'm kind of in the same place, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know,
we're all there.
it's been a very lonely 2020.
Who's saying no to dates right now?
Talk to Chelsea. A lot of people that Chelsea's trying to date before this guy. It's weird.
All right.
It's really weird. She got turned down for eggs.
Don't tell Chelsea, but I'm the one. I'm catfishing her.
You're catfishing Chelsea?
She's texting that guy she met. It's just me. Yeah.
That'll be the big reveal next week's show.
That'll be the big reveal. She gets to Colorado Springs and it's just me at the airport. Like,
Oh.
let's get waffles.
I need to film that. I need to be there for the reaction
Yeah,
shots. Okay, last question. Once this is over and we have a new normal, an old normal, just a normal, what are you most looking forward to doing first?
I mean, I want to come up with something clever, but it is like it's stand up at inside a comedy club that is sold out, or even that's it. But oh man, I don't know, just anything. Like, isn't it funny how like if I could just eat inside a Chipotle,
You can't
I'd
eat?
have to be hard the whole time.
Oh yeah, I guess I haven't eaten
Comedy,
inside one.
comedy on the road, man. Just like me and a friend driving to like Humboldt to do a show we're gonna make $100 at. Oh, sounds divine.
Doesn't have to be a better answer than that. I think that's a great
Yeah.
answer.
I would love to go see a live sporting or a concert. Oh,
I'm with you
Yeah.
on a sporting event.
yeah.
That'd be great.
So one of those. It'd
Not-
also be cool just to see. I mean, like, not to be too wholesome, but like just the all the fam. You know, we're talking about Thanksgiving, doing it like outside, and because some people work on the front lines and some people don't. And it just sucks.
Yeah. No, I know. I had to figure out how I could. I haven't seen my parents in a long time, and
Yeah.
there's rapid testing, like next day results. And I was like, well, if I do that and then I drive to see them and get my results on the way, then I feel safe seeing, like I'm not going to kill them.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was talking today too, where we're looking into that for Thanksgiving weekend.
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
3 weeks away. Torio, that's all my questions. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you for catfishing Chelsea.
Someone had to do it.
Yeah,
Someone had to.
absolutely.
Actually, nobody had to, but I'm a monster, so I did it. Can't wait to see her this weekend.
Right on. Once again, before you go, I'll just remind everyone watching that you're going to be in Sonoma on November 28th with Lori Kilmartin and Ryan Goodcase and Irene too. And people should check that out if they're around or if they aren't around and want to travel and see a live comedy show. So
Come on out. It's super safe.
it is. It is safe as long as everyone's being respectful and safe. I think it's safe. So thank you. This was fun, and I can't wait to actually get to be in a show with you one day in person. So
Can't wait. Yeah, can't wait to get back to SAC. Love it there.
right on. Well, take care.
All right.
All right.
You too.
Bye.
I'll see you on our date.
Yeah. Okay, peers and queers, that was Torio Van Grol, and we're going to have a date because he said yes, and no one else has asked me out in 2020. So send him some coin so it can be a good date. Also, as always, above me, Stab Comedy Theater's Venmo information. And with that, we're going to go with the last person, David Shapiro, actor, comic, producer. David Shapiro. Hey, David, how are you? David? How are you?
I do, but not today.
Oh, yeah, Tony, what?
Yeah, I know. And I fear he's not going to be fired or retire voluntarily until he dies. So we probably have a while that we can talk about this. There's no rush because he's only 79, so he probably is going to be the manager in Chicago for another 14 years.
Oh, you're talking about Tony La Russa. Yeah, sorry. We messaged, but I didn't say that part yet.
I'm not happy. It's a bad hire, in my opinion. Even if they win a World Series with him as the manager, it will be because of the players, not because of La Russa. It will not be because of an old, racist, cheating man who looks like a grandmother.
Well, okay. Do you have something against... Like, in hockey, the Coyotes just relinquished their rights.
That's a whole other issue that we can talk about. It's much deeper than a mention right now. So we can get back to that another time as well.
Okay. I'm just mentioning it because your team seems to be more racist and pro-bully
than
with the
my
managerial
team's
hire.
manager who looks like a grandma.
What do you have against grandmas?
Nothing. I love grandmas and nonies and gam-gams and G-mas and grandmothers and the like, whatever we call them. I just don't trust men who look like grandmas, like John Voight. I find that disconcerting.
Okay, fine. So what is it that you want to talk about today?
Daylight savings time.
Oh, that is timely, actually. Ba-da-ba.
You are so corny. So most Americans deal with daylight savings time. No, not all.
No, not all? Okay, but I knew that. I just wanted to help you.
Thanks.
Yeah. So you're
Arizona,
welcome.
parts of Indiana, and Hawaii don't observe daylight savings time, and it's basically a nuisance in most of Florida and Alaska. Our own California, excuse me, voted successfully in 2018 to give the legislature the ability to opt out or make it permanent year-round or just fix it for us and not do the transitioning between the two.
What do you mean it's a nuisance in Florida and Alaska?
Well, because of the geographic location of the two. So Florida, basically, it's pointless. Solar noon, where the sun is at its highest peak, and civil noon, when the clock says it is noon. It's basically the same time, daylight savings time or not. So, pointless. In Alaska, the state's so large and vast that, like in the far northern areas, like Fairbanks, for instance, they have daylight until midnight or darkness most of the day, depending on the season of year. So, what's an extra hour doing for them? Not much.
Right, midnight sun. I've heard about that.
Yeah. Fairbanks experiences 3 hours and 41 minutes of sunlight on December 21st and 22nd, and approximately more given the time near that, and then it grows and waxes and wanes.
Oh, like
you know what I'm
relative.
saying? Like there's
Yeah,
more
relatively.
daylight in the summer and less, like as it gets to that December 21st and 22nd range, it gets closer to that 3 hour and 41 minutes of sunlight. And then at the summer solstice, which is 182 days later after that December 21st, 22nd, so June 20th, June 21st, Fairbanks receives 21 hours and 41 minutes of sunlight, so almost 22 hours of sunlight. After sunset, twilight is bright enough to allow daytime activities without any electric lights. So basically, the sun doesn't set during the summer. So what's an extra hour?
Someone has been reading Wikipedia.
Yeah. Someone should spend 3 hours and 41 minutes learning how to brush and style her hair. So,
Rude. Moving on.
So basically, most people in Alaska are indifferent to getting an extra hour or not. Their time is wacky enough already.
True.
And in Arizona, they don't follow it at all because it actually costs more money to follow it than it would save.
How does it cost?
Well,
money?
it gets so hot in Arizona that to cool an office and a car and a building, a mall, whatever, during daylight hours is more expensive than it is to do it during darkness. So by having people in business settings during daylight times longer, it costs more money than if they just didn't have that extra hour of daylight and people are at home winding down, or it can be cooler because it's nighttime, so they don't have to worry about cooling because it naturally is cooler. You know what I mean? Or it can be hotter because it's nighttime. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they're paying more for energy costs than if they did, if they didn't have it. And the reason that most of the country follows daylight savings time at this point and observes it is because of an energy crisis back in the 60s.
So that's why daylight saving times exist, because of an energy crisis and
Kind
saving
of.
money?
George Hudson, a British entomologist, proposed a daylight savings time back in 1895.
Okay. Why?
I hope Chelsea's still watching. Hudson, who was living in New Zealand at the time, was an entomologist, and he had an extensive bug collection, and he found daylight more useful to help him collect bugs. Yeah,
What?
that's right. The first proponent of daylight savings time just wanted to collect more bugs.
Oh my god, that's dumb.
Right. And back then, at the turn of the 20th century, gas lighting was how we had indoor lighting, so allowing for more natural light from the sun and not using as much gas-powered lighting was beneficial.
Unfortunately, people are still gaslighting.
Different kind of gaslighting, Suze. Different kind.
Can we talk about that kind of gaslighting one day?
Sure, we can do that. But back to actual indoor light powered by gas emission lighting. It was the standard at the turn of the century, as electric lighting wouldn't even be in 50% of U.S. households until the 1920s, 1925 approximately. So it was around 1908 that U.S. cities started adopting daylight savings time, originally to give them more daylight to work and live in. It was a hard push. There was a hard push in the 60s to adopt it nationally, not just city by city, because of an energy crisis. But yeah, it all started because a dude named George wanted to collect bugs.
So we can just stop now, since we have technology and more efficient lighting.
Yeah,
right?
well, and a lot of people would actually love that. There's a push by medical experts and frazzled parents and lawmakers that want to go to one time or the other, either adopt permanent standard time or adopt permanent daylight time, because it can be a health risk for some, actually. It can be problematic for technology and business and everything, but it can be a health risk. According to Wikipedia, Experts in circadian rhythms and sleep are warning about the negative health implications of daylight savings time. Daylight savings time cuts on sleep and causes an increased mismatch between the body clock and local time, a condition called social jet lag. Both sleep deprivation and social jet lag have been associated with negative effects on physical and mental health outcomes, including increased risk for diabetes, obesity, heart disease, depression, and some form of cancer. Year-round standard time, not year-round daylight savings time, is proposed to be the preferred option for public health and safety.
Why not permanent daylight time?
Well, there's actually studies out there that say while it would be beneficial for the 65% of the year that we use daylight savings time, it would be calamitous for the 35% of the year that we rely on standard time, because you would have children going to school in darkness and adults going to work in darkness, and people don't apparently want to do those things in darkness.
Headlights? I don't know. Night students and evening workers go to school and work in the darkness. I think we could deal for 35% of the year. Give me one reason why we should abolish
in 2017,
transitioning.
hold on, let me check. In 2017, researchers at the University, this is from Wikipedia, researchers at University of Washington and the University of Virginia reported that judges who experienced sleep deprivation as a result of daylight savings time tended to issue longer sentences.
Oh, that's good enough for me. Cool. Let's cut it there. See you next week, and we can talk about the White Sox and their grandma manager.
Maybe. This is a big week. In 48 hours, the country votes, finally. So we might have more important stuff to talk about in 48 hours.
All right. Well, don't forget to vote on Tuesday.
I won't.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, bye. Okay, I'm going to start calling David Shapiro social jet lag because, I get tired of talking to him. Anyhow, that was the show for this week. Thanks to Torio. Thanks to Chelsea. Thanks to Jesse and Stab. Thanks to you guys for watching. We'll be back next week on the 8th at 5:03. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It'll be a interesting week, so strap in. Don't forget to vote, and we'll see you then.
Hot shit, and I love it, yeah.